Good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, December 18th. It's 6:30. It's time for the Selectmen's meeting. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we always stand. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Joseph are excused for this evening. Next on, and I'm wearing an ugly sweater for Christmas, just in case anybody noticed.
No one noticed, John.
I'll get the texts later. Item number 2 on the agenda is acceptance of minutes. We have the minutes of December 11th, 2017. Mr. Siganovich.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of December 11th, 2017.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Siganovich, seconded by Mr. Ruda. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. 3-0. Then we have the executive minutes of December 11th, 2017. Mr. Ruda.
Make a motion to approve the executive minutes of December 11th, 2017. And are we
Not to release.
Not to release, but to approve.
Okay, motion
Second.
by Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Siganovich. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, guys. Okay, item 3, up next, we have appointments tonight. We have a bunch of Dudley Police Reservists that we'd like to extend with their terms to expire December 31st, 2018. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the annual reappointments of these officers. They go on a one-year basis. So I submit the names that you have, I believe, on your agenda for reappointment, term to expire December 31st of 2018.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ruda.
I'll move to appoint the following Dudley Police Reservists with terms to expire 12/31/2018. James Rivera, Robbie LaRue, Daniel Milhouse, John Glowacki, Ryan Kasich, James Mastro Giovanni, Eric Gulkin, and Anthony Dionato.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Siganovich. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll call that to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thanks, Chief. Thank you, everybody,
Thank you, Mr.
for
Chairman.
continuing to serve our town.
Thank you. Could I just bring up one other item
Sure.
on
Go ahead,
this?
Chief.
We've, as you know, the board had authorized up to 5 positions on the reserve force. Because if you see the numbers you just reappointed, there's some, we're down a few members at this point. And so the evaluation committee has been activated. They held interviews this past Saturday. And so what I'd like to do is try to get conditional appointments for two officers at this point.
Okay.
Basically, what this is just extends them the opportunity to complete all the rest of the process, because we need that conditional appointment in order to get some of these things done in time. And I know the board not meeting again until January sometime. This might help to just kind of expedite the process and get this moving along. So with your permission, I would submit the names of Ms. Paige Moros and Ms. Kristen Robinson for conditional appointment to the department.
What was the second one, Chief?
Kristen Robinson. It's Kristin Robinson.
Robertson.
Robin. Robinson.
And Chief, through
That's
the chair.
Paige, Paige, and the last name is Moros, Moroz.
Through the chair.
Well, before we get started, we have this under public business 9B without any objection from the board. We can bring this forward now and just while the chief is up. Mr. Ruda.
It's a full-time replacement on B.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Was that where you wanted to talk about that, Chief?
I could do either. It doesn't matter to you.
All right,
Mr.
no,
Chairman.
let's do these ones then first.
Chief, the conditional appointment, what's the condition?
Basically, what they'd have to do is they're going to have to get their physical, their strength and agility test, psychological evaluation, and also complete the background check. Once that's all done, what I'll do is then resubmit the names to the board, and then you'll formally appoint them as reserve officers for the term to expire December 31st of 2018 with the rest. So basically, this just is like an offer of basically an initial offer of employment. However, they have to meet all the qualifications, and then they're brought back before you for formal appointment later.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Ruda.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Paige Moros and Kristen Robinson to the reserve officer force with conditional appointments pending successful completion of the criteria that the chief just mentioned.
Motion by Mr. Ruda,
Second.
second by Mr. Sigenovich. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem, Chief.
Just one comment on that, just if you haven't noticed, we've been trying to get female officers on board for quite some time, and we interviewed 6 individuals this past Saturday, and these 2 finished at the top of the list. Of the 6 that were interviewed this week, these 2 were the 2 top written scorers as well. So they did a pretty good job at the interview, and was a unanimous recommendation by the committee at this point, so.
Great.
Great, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. You guys, next we have another appointment with the planning board. It's a joint appointment for Dan Edmonston with the term to expire June of 2018. Planning board, Dan, come on up.
Thank you for having us on the
Hi, Mark.
agenda. We are waiting for one board member.
Okay,
So if you can just bump us.
I can. We can do that.
Kevin Sullivan, so if you see him come in, then
Okay, then we can
That
do
would be
that.
great.
All right, no
Thank you
problem,
so
Mark.
much.
We'll move that.
appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Item 4, is there anybody here would like to speak on something that's not on tonight's agenda? Yeah, come on up. And then just state your name and your address and,
My name's Laurel Robidoux. I live at 8 James Street here in Dudley.
okay.
I'm more or less looking for some guidance and some help. My mom lives at Joshua Place, and she's lived there for many, many, many years. This past summer, there was an incident where a woman, her estranged husband had gone to her door, knocked on the door, and she got upset. So now what they're trying to do, because of that one isolated incident, is to lock all the outside doors, which is actually a danger to these people. And I don't know where to go with it and what to do with it. It's really bad. I mean, you're talking people's lives here. It's not a joke. And I've heard it, that, well, the government wants it to have these doors locked, but it's like I said, it's been many, many years that these doors have not been locked. They have solid doors with deadbolts. They're putting people's lives at risk. And at this point, I'm asking for a cease and desist until I can get to a town, no, actually a board, the authority board meeting.
Housing Authority.
I don't know if you guys can help me with this, but it's that there is a woman, I don't really want to name names because it's not right. There is a woman that has dementia. If you're not familiar with it, this is something that comes and goes. It's like a spell. So if it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, she has a spell. She walks out that door. She doesn't have a key to get back into that door. She could freeze to death in 10 minutes. I mean, I don't want it on any. I don't know how I'd feel if that were to happen. And there's a lot of people that they can't protect themselves over there. I mean, somebody's going to do something.
Okay, Greg?
I mean, the suggestion I have is to approach the housing authority. I'd be happy to have a conversation with the director. I can reach out to her tomorrow. I just need a way to get back in touch with you.
That's fine. I can.
So, we find out the reasons as to why they've taken the action they have. I'm assuming that it had to take an approval of her commission, and we just want to find out what the reasoning is behind that.
The isolated incident,
Yeah.
sir. I'd be glad to leave my phone number,
Yeah, sure.
and then if you can get back, that'd be
Yeah, I'll
great.
reach out to them.
Alrighty then.
Okay, thanks. Chief, anything to add? Steve, anything to add?
No, I think that's a good suggestion.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so
Great,
much.
thanks. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss not on tonight's agenda? Okay. We'll move on a little bit. Greg, your report?
We'll be closed Monday for Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and Merry Christmas to Dudley. And closed on the following Monday, January 28th. Normal hours, both Fridays preceding the holidays. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, anything, nothing else? Okay, thank you, Greg. Nothing around town, which focuses on our local businesses. We'll pick that back up in the new year. Next, we have licenses and permits. Doldray Inc. businesses, Drafter Sports Cafe, 35 Chase Ave. This was their, this was from the last time. Dean, you want to come up? Their on-premise all alcohol license. That we had a question on the sprinklers.
Yeah, they're all set. I emailed her back and forth and spoke to her on the phone, and they're in the process of rectifying the situation, so everything's all good to go.
Good to go? You're happy? No? Okay.
Yep.
Good. Awesome. So we just need a vote then to do
Do
that.
you need a motion?
Yes, Mr. Siganovich, take us away.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the license for Dudley Incorporated, DBA Drafter Sports Cafe, 35 Chase Ave, on-premises, all alcohol, and for Wicked Motorsports for a coin-operated amusement license.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Siganovich, seconded by Mr. Ruda. Discussion on both of those? Any? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, and we have some stuff to sign, we'll do that. Okay, we have no public hearings. Public business, we'll get into that, section 9. The highway department, Danny, come on up. This is our annual permission to overspend the snow account. So Danny, you wanna?
Yeah,
Let us
Mr.
know
Chairman,
what's going on.
like you stated, it's my annual request to have the board allow me to overspend the snow and ice account. I did provide a spreadsheet for the board for the account, the line item. You can see we're funded for $90,000, and just to stockpile our sand and salt, the cost was almost $83,000. So we're getting near the end. And I do want to just mention that, you know, the account has been increased by $10,000 by Mr. Balyakonis over the last year or two. But it's still nowhere near enough. I mean, given Dudley's financial situation, I mean, compared to the towns around us, it's about half of what Webster gets, and it's not even a third of what Oxford gets. So, you know, we have to overspend the account every year. But, you know, we're going to be fiscally responsible, but we also have to keep safety in mind as well.
Absolutely. Mr. Ruda, can you explain to everybody like how that account works and why?
So, in the past, we've what we're trying to do now is to get it back up to onto regular par with other neighboring towns, because the Chapter 90 money we receive really should be dedicated towards, for the most part, you know, snow removal and road improvement projects. In the past, there's been a tradition to underfund this account because there was some provision that I understand in the law where if you fund at a certain level, you're required in the next year to continue to fund at that certain level.
Equal funding.
Equal funding. So what we've done is we've traditionally underfunded that account and then granted permission to overspend, and then we almost adjust to the penny at the end of the year, as opposed to being locked into a certain amount every year. It gives us a little flexibility. It's not the greatest practice, but it's been necessary based on past budget.
I agree, and what's happened is the cost of materials has gone up so much that before the plows even hit the road, we've almost expended our budget in its entirety. So the goal is increase it $5,000 to $10,000 every year going forward until we reach that sweet spot where our neighbors are. We have, what, 90 miles in road, Stan?
Yeah, just under 90
And
miles.
the amount of money that we spend compared to neighboring communities is next to nothing.
And Mr. Chairman, if you look at the line item, the salt, we hauled in 723 tons of salt and 3,300 tons of sand. That 4,000-ton mixture is enough to sand the town 18 to 20 times. That's not 18 to 20 snowfalls, that's applications. We just had about a 6-inch snowfall a week or so ago. We had to sand the roads twice within about a 7-hour period before there was enough to go plowing the roads off. And unfortunately, once you start plowing, you're taking away about 85 or 90% of the sand that's on the roadway. Then you have to sand after. So that little storm, you know, most of the roads were sanded 3 or 4 times. So it's, you know, we're into it already. So.
Okay. Thanks, Danny. You weren't here last week, but we said great job for, I know we had some truck breakdowns and stuff.
Yeah, we
still got through it.
old equipment, but we're gaining on it.
Good.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ruda.
I'll move to grant permission to the highway superintendent to overspend the snow account.
Motion by Mr. Ruda,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Siganovich. Discussion. And I think this is the only account we can actually overspend for everybody out there.
Correct.
There's no other account we can just overspend frivolously. It's just this one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 9B, Chief Steve Weiner, please come on back up. This is to talk about the full-time replacement position. Kind of messed up earlier. I thought we were going to do both of those.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe a couple weeks ago I had mentioned to you a possibility of one of our officers leaving to take another position. So that is still anticipated to take place at this time. However, I haven't been able to receive a solid date as to what date he would be leaving right now. So I had a discussion with the administrator this week, and we actually, in anticipation of that, posted the position amongst our reserve officers to see who would be interested. So I have an officer that is interested, and he was actually the second place candidate on our last exam that we had when we appointed Tyler Smith. He finished second in that process. So what I am inclined to do is try to bring him on and have him work a set shift still as a part-timer, continue him as a part-time officer, till such time as we can determine when a full-time vacancy exists, and then we would appoint him as a student officer, and then full appoint him after he gets done with the academy. So that's basically the idea I want to have at this point. As you know, I have two officers that are out on injuries, so bringing that position in will help alleviate a lot of overtime and get it in place in anticipation of that vacancy taking place. So I just wanted to bring this up to your attention and see if you had any questions on anything. Or
Okay. And the vacancy, we know when that'll take place?
I haven't received
No
I
date
haven't
yet?
received the official notice as of yet. So I'm asking for it, but apparently the company that they're going to hasn't given them the official notice yet. So I think it's the safest thing at this point anyway, where we don't want to appoint anybody to a position, at least until there's a vacancy.
Sure.
However, I can bring them and start them working on a more regular basis in anticipation of that happening at some point, especially after the first of the year. And it'll help again alleviate some overtime and fill in some gaps until we can get our other situation straightened out.
Mr. Chairman, if we do a provisional part-time, well, not provisional, but a part-time appointment to help take up some of the slack and wait for a vacancy, I think we're well within our moratorium on creating new positions if we're waiting for a vacancy to occur. So I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Agreed.
I wouldn't anticipate any type of issues as far as anything contractually that goes, because this person would be at the bottom of the list as far as selecting any shifts and being eligible for things. So we shouldn't have any conflicts or problems on that end.
And we have the budget, everything's in there and everything. Do you need anything from us tonight?
I don't need anything from you tonight. No, I just wanted to bring you up to speed as to where we're at, and when everything becomes official, I will let you know. But I just want to give you kind of an idea of the plan I was looking at this point. Nothing budget-wise, because I believe if I bring him on, I'm actually going to be paying him a lot less than I would be paying for overtime for a lot of the shifts. And some of the officers have been working a lot of time, so not only strain financially, but it's also a strain on them individually. So
Okay.
this will help alleviate a lot of things, I think.
So, Chief, that'll be considered a part-time shift wherever you...
Yeah, he's still maintaining it as part-time. I think we would probably safest to keep it that way, at least until we can get something else more formal in place. And then we'll know about police academies and get that thing up the line, and we'll just go to the student officer and then to full-time after that.
Okay. Thanks for that update, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If we can go back to 3A, the appointment of the planning board. Don is here, and Dan, come on up. This is a joint appointment for Dan Edmiston with the term to expire June 2018. Guys? Mark?
Evening.
Play some
Oh, thank you
music when they're
guys.
doing that
Thanks
with
for
chairs.
allowing us to bump that, and everybody's running crazy. Guy coming from Boston, so anyway. So we had we have an open seat on the planning board, and Dan Edmiston has come to us and is interested in the position. The board is in unanimous support of appointing Dan to the vacant seat, and we wanted to present that to the board.
Okay. I know that Dan has served on the FAA for a short time, but he went through a town meeting with us, and I know Dan, why don't you tell everybody about why planning board is, you think, a better fit, and everything like that.
My background is in architecture and in planning, so the planning board fits my professional, can't say expertise, but hopefully it's close to that. That was the main drive behind it. And also is that they are awfully active, meeting every second week, so it just seems like it'd be something to keep my attention and help the community as best I can.
Beautiful.
Through the chair,
Mr. Ruda?
Greg, are we looking for a joint vote tonight?
We need both boards to vote jointly on Dan's appointment. His term will be until the next election, June of 2018.
Okay, in that case, I'll make a motion to appoint Dan Edmiston with a term to expire June 2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. Any other discussion by our board? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. You guys wanna, now you guys need a vote.
Mark, I would suggest that your board also make a
Yes.
motion so you
Okay.
go down on record
So I'll
that
en-
you've also voted.
Great. I'll entertain a motion to support the appointment that we just mentioned.
So moved. I'll second that.
Motion by Mr.
Can we get a
Horn.
motion?
Go ahead. Sorry, I was just,
A motion and a second to appoint Dan Edmiston to the planning board. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous?
thanks, guys, thanks, Dan.
Great.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Thank you.
on.
Thank you.
Good to have you there.
Happy holidays.
There.
I thought you were gonna ask him about, whether he was here under his own recognizance or...
No, I was gonna ask Mr. Sullivan, my sweater is uglier than his, so, you know. All right. Thank you,
I
guys.
got that from his dad.
He definitely got that from his dad.
Doesn't fit anymore.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, item 9C, we have the Board of Health is asking for permission to use the Clarinda Wood Fund in the amount of $541 for the month of July 2017, $849 for the month of October 2017, and $117 for the month of November 17 to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services.
I'll move to
Board members.
approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Ruda.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. All right. All right, what do we got next?
We got
Okay,
this guy.
we got Jared Tetro, Mr. Student Representative, and Mr. Shepherd Hill. Yep, still saying it. You want to give us your report?
It's extra short tonight, everyone.
Thank you.
The varsity boys basketball team defeated Tantascwa 89-64 in their season opener. Their next game is away tomorrow night at 7 p.m. against Marlboro High School. The varsity girls basketball team is currently ranked first in the district with a record of 3-0 so far this season. Most recently, they defeated Holy Name on Friday night, 56-54, in a victory dedicated to the memory of John Pear. Their next game is at home tomorrow night at 7 p.m. against Marlboro High School. The Shepherd Hill Choirs performed with the Worcester Youth Orchestra at their 70th annual holiday concert at Mechanics Hall in Worcester on Sunday, December 17th. The groups were honored to perform with one of the area's most prestigious ensembles. The Shepherd Hill Drama Club performed their winter production, What I Want to Say But Never Will, on Friday, December 15th and Saturday, December 16th. In the coming weeks at Shepherd Hill, winter break will be from Saturday, December 23rd, 2017 to Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. The light at the end of the tunnel is coming.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Jared. Board members, any comments? Carrie, anything tonight?
Nothing?
Ruda?
Good.
Good. The only thing I had to say was this is our last board meeting for 2017. It's been an interesting year for the town and everybody here that works hard to volunteer to make the right things happen. So I just wanted to wish everybody a very safe holiday week and season, and we'll pick this back up in January. So thank you, everybody. And then we will have department heads. Steve, you want to go first? Do you have anything else?
Anything?
Just doing times of charm. Just wanted to thank the board, everybody that was from the town or whatever it was that came last Thursday. Was really quite an occasion, and but I thank you guys for coming. I know you were tied up, so completely understood.
sorry.
But thanks to Greg for his kind words and everything like that, and to Michelle and everybody else like that. So I just want to thank you very much for everything, and
Yeah,
Looking forward to a fun
congratulations,
year.
Chief. Yeah, that was a great event.
I wish I could have been there, Chief. I was 2 miles from the Canadian border in a snow squall, believe
Right.
me.
And it's ironic too, I think we have a guest coming tomorrow to visit, and I think I'm actually gonna be switching places. I have to go up to the State House tomorrow morning, so.
Oops.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's times, so.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Congratulations again. Dean? Danny? All set? Wow, you guys have not much to say. Okay,
Just
Mr.
just a short
Hold on.
executive session.
Okay, Jay, you want to lead us into executive, please?
I'll make a motion that the board convene into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21-2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, not to reconvene in regular session.
Motion by Mr. Ruda,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. Roll call vote, please.
John Ruda, aye.
John Marcy, aye.
Kerry Siganovich, aye.
Thank you, guys, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you soon. Take care, good night.